Welcome back to John Madden Sales. It is winter up in Cazenovia, and that means all the show horses have gone down to Wellington, and it is time to start the young horses. In this Madden Method video today, we're going to go over what happens in the barn when the first set of 3-year-olds is coming in to get started. A couple of things that we think about before we start bringing these young horses in is trying to tidy up the aisle and making everything as safe as possible, because these young horses have been living in a field for the majority of their life, most of them, and now it is their 3-year-old year and it's time to come in, learn how to live in a stall, learn how to be handled, know how to go in and out of the grooming stall, be tied, be in the wash stall, and then eventually by the end of the winter I'm going to be sitting on them and doing some light riding. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure my path from the door to the stall is clear, and I'm going to take all the buckets out of the stall, because if they get excited about being in here and being away from their friends, I don't want them to get hung up on anything until they settle down. So I've removed all the buckets. There's some hay in the corner. The bedding is fresh. And I also want to note that I try to bring in, if it's possible, at least 2 at a time, but no more. That way they have a friend and they're a little bit more comfortable leading in and a little bit more comfortable being in a new environment if they have a horse that they know. So even when we bring them in pairs and have the ability to do that, sometimes the horses have a little bit of anxiety when they first come in, even if they can see their friend across the aisle. So just having the buckets out makes it a little bit safer at the beginning. Every horse is different, so it might take one 15 minutes to settle down, it might take one a half an hour, but what we do is just kind of monitor them throughout the course of that initial time that they're in, and once they've settled down, we'll put their buckets back in, and then let them just hang out in the stalls for a while and observe the daily operations. You know, we make sure when we go in and out of their stall for that first day, and actually any time that they're in the barn thereafter, that we don't just leave the door open, because they might try to get out. So I'm gonna make sure when I go in to put hay that I'm not allowing them to encroach my space, and then I'm monitoring the door. When I go in to put the grain in the bucket, I'm gonna close the door behind me so they don't sneak out. Little things like that, we just kind of prepare ourselves for these initial stages. Once the young horses have settled down, then it's time for us to do some initial handling. So in the next episode of the Madden Method, we're going to go over those initial stages of handling, grooming, leading, and so on. So if you're liking what you're seeing and you want to see more, join us on our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.